I should also say, it's not to poo-poo like the color black is like an inherently negative color. It's not negative itself, it's repelling the negativity. So in that way, it's an extremely powerful and positive color. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Dr. Corey Wren, and I am a sociologist and vegan feminist, vegan witch, vegan all the things. And this is part of the color correspondence series on the channel, where I take you through some of the key colors and what they have symbolically meant and how you can use them in your day-to-day life and practice. So one of the old standbys is going to have to be black. Today I'm specifically going to be looking at black candles, but you can obviously, most of my wardrobe is black, but you can look into black in other formats. But today I just want to look at candles as a candle magic sort of focus I wanted to do. So black is probably the most, and there's two colors that you need to go out and get. I would say a white and a black, because they are the most go-to universal colors, and they're all encompassing, I suppose. But basically, you light a black candle whenever you feel like you need to rid some bad energy in the space. So if you believe in ghosts and you feel like there's a ghost in your house, or there's a ghost of someone bothering you, maybe he is not even dead, light a black candle, and that will absorb that negative energy. Of course, it won't work if you're not thinking about it. If you just light it and forget it, first off, don't burn your house down. But secondly, it's really important to also set an intention when you work with color magic, because that's the whole point. With rituals and symbolism, if you don't really think about it and put some energy, mental energy into it, it's kind of pointless. But then again, if you're just like worn out, light it anyway, because it's better than nothing. But yeah, if you have a feeling of negativity in your home, if you have like bad juju, bad energy, bad air, bad whatever you want to call it, if you just got in a fight with your partner, you got in an argument with your parents, and you need to spell that black candle. But this can be used to just kind of counter anything negative in your life. It doesn't have to be like really intense, like, you know, a breakup or whatever, or otherworldly like a ghost. Just any day sort of negative energy that you're experiencing, a black candle is really good for setting that intention of working against that and expelling it. So there's two ways that the witchcraft community sees this working. One of them is that it actually repels, expels, and in other cases it's thought to actually absorb. And so the scientists out there will know where that comes from, because what is black? It's an absorption of all of the colors, whereas white reflects them all. So that's kind of the idea behind this symbolism. So black candles, very good to have on hand, depending on the situation. Like again, I've talked about these little rinky-dinky candles. These are generally used for specific spells or used in conjunction with other colors. But if you have a serious negativity in the house, go out and buy like a big old candle. Like this is not going to last long enough to do much good. If you have had a bit of maybe you got a nasty email and you want to get that out of your system, that's all right. This is nasty email worthy. But say if you're going through a breakup, or you have moved into a new home and it does give you bad vibes, then maybe get a large size candle. Now for vegans, this is another reason I thought this was a very important color to have, because we are living in a constant state of horror and trauma and terror when it comes to what's happening to non-human animals. And so I think that it would be very helpful to have a black candle on hand for when it gets to be too much. I've made recommendations for color correspondences depending on where you want to go with your mood. For instance, a light blue candle can be very useful for setting more tranquil spirits, or honoring those who've passed on. White's very important for that as well. However, sometimes it's so bad and it's so nasty and it's so negative, you need to go for the big boy, and that would be a big black candle, basically. So worth an investment, if I'm honest. I don't find that I use them very often. I prefer to stick with the light and happy colors, or my power colors, my purple candle over here actually. Don't want to I prefer those colors. However, I do recognize in certain situations a black candle is really just going to be necessary. I would reserve it for really nasty negative points. But the small ones, again, like I said, it's just, you need like a quick, like, get this out of my life. Then the black candle will be suitable in that situation. So there you go. This is not to poo-poo. By the way, I should also say, this is not to poo-poo, like the color black is like an inherently negative color. It's not negative itself. It's repelling the negativity. So in that way, it's an extremely powerful and positive color. And that's probably one of the reasons why the witches and the goths all wear black, right? Because it's a power color, isn't it? But I want to be clear also that there has been some criticism in the magical community and the ecofeminist community, the goddess tradition, all that kind of stuff, about associating white with good and pure and angelic, and then black with evil and dark and all that kind of stuff, satanic. That's not accurate, and it's also not helpful, but we also need to be mindful that that's historically has been used in that way. If you look at some of the older books on witchcraft, they don't really... they're not really thinking about non-white people, for instance, reading that book and thinking, like, what the hell are you talking about there, sister? So just be mindful of that history when we're looking at symbolism. This is one of my big things always to keep in your back pocket, is that what's symbolic to you may mean something different to someone who's raised in a different culture and socialized differently. And also, if we live in a society where we use symbols potently, we use those in order to naturalize, normalize, and justify severe inequalities. So and also, you may or may not be familiar with the unfortunate trend in adoption for non-human animal companions. Black cats and black dogs tend to be the last to go. There's lots of theories on that. One of them is that they don't photograph as well. But another one is that they're associated with evil, satanic, devil stuff. And there's a lot of superstitions on that. And I can vouch for that in my own self, because I used to have a black cat, Miss Trudy. She's no longer with me. She had breast cancer, bless her heart. But when I went to adopt, and I just went in and said, I can never choose. Please give me the cat nobody else wants. And they said, well, that's at the time she was called Sweetie. She kept that name in many ways. But it was Miss Trudy. And they said, well, we have people, this was in New Jersey, by the way. And they said, we'd have people come in here, see a black cat, turn around and leave because they thought that they were in the presence of evil. I mean, this is the sweetest cat that ever lived on this earth. And I also had a student who came up to me after class once asking me for help because they had a cat that was black. Their sister had left the cat with him, and he'd gone off. The sister had gone off somewhere for travel for an extended amount of time, and he was illegally keeping this cat in his dorm room in the university campus. And he was just asking me, what do I do? My parents won't take this cat because the cat is black, and my parents think the cat's evil. And his parents are from Africa, by the way. So that's kind of a cross-cultural thing. It was like white New Jersey people didn't want to be around that cat, and then black African folks didn't want to be around a black cat either. So that may be a universal negative stereotype that maybe we can all work against. Adopt those black cats and black dogs. Get yourself a black candle, and some mo to be.